Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Movie Season. Today we are going to be doing our 90s tier list. So Justin's joining me. We're going to go through 50 of the top horror slash thriller movies of the 90s, and we're going to put them in different tiers. There's only a couple I think that maybe we haven't seen, so if that's the case, we have a tier for that as well. So Justin, we talked a little bit about, if we have a huge discrepancy from one another, we're going to have like one overrule per person. So if there's one that we just really disagree about, you have that one in your pocket that you can use. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. You ready?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Justin's been patient, man. I've been working through some technical issues, so probably have to get lunch or something one day because he's been very, very patient. So let's go ahead and get
How
started.
about instead of lunch, how about we just get rolling on this? I'm really excited to talk about '90s horror.
There's some good ones in here. There's some good ones.
So
And you
now
don't.
I'm up. Now I'm mad, and I'm gonna really be using my override early.
Well, you only got one, so I'll give you an extra
No,
one. I'll
yeah.
give you an extra one since you've been waiting. But
All right, that's the deal.
all right. So hold on a second.
Get the tier list pulled up.
Yep. All right. So here we go. So first movie we got S tier, which is the top tier, A, B, C, D, and then at the very bottom haven't seen. So we'll go
Would
ahead.
S tier be like a classic?
Yeah, that's like I would say out of the 50 movies we have, there should probably only be like 5 S tier.
We really got to make S tier feel special.
That's
So
what I'm
let's
saying, and we might
put a
not even
bunch
get to
of-
5.
Let's not put 30 things.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So first one is Devil's Advocate.
Oh, so these are just '90s horror.
Yeah. It's just 90s
In
horror.
general.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought we were doing. Okay, cool. Devil's Advocate. Oh man,
I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna say C tier.
I'm gonna be honest with you on this. I haven't seen this movie.
You've never seen it? I hadn't seen it up until about a year or two ago. It's good, but it's not. I might move this one up.
I honestly think I've seen some of it, like when it was on TV when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I've never seen. I haven't seen it enough to where I can give it a ranking. So I'm gonna take myself out of this one.
All right. I'm gonna throw it in C tier. Next up is Arachnophobia.
All right, I have seen this, so we can actually talk about this movie.
All right. So go ahead.
Arachnophobia, I think, was a lot scarier when I was younger. I haven't revisited it in a while, but I do enjoy this movie. But I do think it's one of those ones that's a lot scarier when you're younger.
Yeah, and we don't have to rank these based solely on how scary it is. I was kind of thinking more like how we view it as a whole in that genre. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Oh, whoa. Okay, got you.
I mean, I'm running it down, man.
All right.
I'm running it down.
All right, go ahead.
So, the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest part in the whole movie is when Jeff Daniels takes I guess it's like a spray can bottle and a open flame and tries to kill that tarantula.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That tarantula was
Um,
huge.
Yeah. But the scene that always stuck out to me, two scenes stuck out to me. One, the spider in the shower, and then obviously the spider that was at like the bottom of the cereal.
See, mine was always the.
I feel like just
Go ahead.
no, it's fine. I think there's a little bit of a delay, so just it's fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, it's the football helmet and the shoe.
Oh wow.
Like I still to this
Oh,
day
yeah.
check my shoes to make sure there's not a.
I do. All right. Yeah, I do always check my shoes for spiders. So just for that, I think we need to put this in B tier.
Yeah, this one
I think it's C. I would be okay with C tier though.
I'm good with B. I definitely wouldn't put it in C. I think it's better than C tier. So B's good. B's a good
Yeah,
fit.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
B, yeah, good solid movie.
All right. Army of Darkness.
Oh man, I'm gonna lose so much credibility with the horror
You
community,
haven't seen
man.
this
But
either?
I am not a fan. No, I have seen it, and I'll be honest with you,
I'm not a fan of
it
this one
doesn't
either.
do it for me, man.
Yeah, it like
It's just not for me. It's
yeah, and it's weird because we love movies like this, but for whatever reason, man, it just didn't. It
mhm.
really didn't click with me either. I think if I would have saw it like when it first came out, I think I probably would have a different view on it. But I'm kind of like you.
I know some people love this more than the Evil Dead movies. I really enjoy Evil Dead 2. I mean, I really
Yeah.
enjoy that one. I'm
Uh,
not gonna say I'm like this diehard fan of it, but Army of Darkness for me, I'll be honest, man, is D tier. But out of respect,
I'm gonna throw it in
maybe
C.
C.
I'm
But
gonna throw it in C. You cool with that?
well, wait a minute though. We don't like it.
That's true. I like Devil. Like if I had to watch one, I'd definitely watch Devil's Advocate. Well, let's throw it in D tier for right now, and then if we come back in, just the respect
I don't
factor.
feel right about having. I don't feel right about having Devil's Advocate ahead of it. But I'm being honest. Like
Devil's
I
Advocate's a
don't
better
really
movie.
enjoy like. Well, I haven't seen Devil's Advocate, but I just know there's a huge fan of Army of Darkness. So this is tough to say, but I just don't like it, you guys. We could put it in C just from the technical, like
Yeah.
for how like
Like I said, we can move it down.
You know.
This isn't set in stone. So, Blair Witch
Okay.
Project.
All right, I'm gonna judge this solely based on the first time I watched it because this is not a rewatchable movie
No, I agree with that.
at all, in my opinion. You're gonna have a way more fond memory of this because you actually got to go see it in theater. I saw it on DVD at like 3 o'clock on a Sunday. I put it in B tier. The cultural relevance it's had, I know you're probably wanting to go A tier. I definitely don't want it in S.
It's not. I wouldn't
But
put
if
it
you
in
put it
S.
on A tier, I wouldn't mind A tier just because of it. It kind of changed the industry.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna-
mind putting it in A. But
I'm
for
gonna
me,
go-
it's B.
I agree with you on A tier. And yeah, I saw this in theaters, and there was like 3 people in the entire theater. It looks like it was shot like in our backyard. Growing up, so yeah, it just I don't know, man. Like you said, it kind of revolutionized horror there for like an entire decade. I mean, everybody was trying to create the next Blair Witch Project. So,
Well, and the problem I have is like people that watch it today are gonna, they're like, yeah, that's not scary, but like they don't get it's definitely one of those. It's a product of its time.
mhm.
If you were, you were in the perfect age for it. You're like in high school, I think, right? Like,
Yeah,
that if you were there, like honestly, this is the first time they've ever done that gimmick. So truly, people thought it was like actual footage.
yeah. I mean,
Like
it really
that's
was.
what you have to understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't real footage, but I'm
But
saying
yeah,
like
well,
people really felt that way.
It's extremely unsettling. It's extremely
Yeah,
unsettling.
even now,
But,
like when I've rewatched it, I guess like a couple years ago, and it's still got its moments where it's like, it's still really unsettling and really kind of jarring, I guess is the word. But
Yes.
all right, so let's go to the next. Let's go to the next one. Bone Collector.
What did we decide on?
A.
Oh, okay.
Bone
Collector.
Bone
Is Bone
Collector.
Collector even a horror movie?
Look, man, I had to come up with 50
I didn't think
movies.
Bone Collector's horror.
Well, I got news for you. There's other ones on here that you're probably not gonna like either. So, I would say that
I'll
if you,
rate Bone Collector, but
I would say I always look at it like if you went into a video store, where would this be? This would be in the horror section, I think.
being Thriller.
I don't know if there's.
But
a
let's rank
separate-
it. Let's rank it. But Bone Collector is definitely more towards the thriller than horror, in my opinion.
I
But
agree
let's
with
just
you.
rank it.
I agree with you, but it's tough unless you want to have
I'm
like.
going.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. There's a second delay, so just we got to know that because we're gonna keep talking over each other. So there's like a second delay. So it's like walkie talkies. We gotta like give us a second on each time we talk. I'm just gonna go quickly with this one. I'm going C here with Bone Collector. It's a decent movie. It's not super memorable for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like first time I saw it, I really liked it, and I still think it does some good things. But it's kind of in that same run of the mill, who's the killer. They tell you in the last 10 minutes. They have some reason that they're like targeting this investigator. So yeah, I mean it's good, but it's not like overly memorable. Bride of Chucky.
Bride of Chucky came out in the 90s?
Yeah.
It must have been like 99 or something. For some reason, I thought that movie came out like early 2000s. But Bride of Chucky,
98.
I kind of like Bride of Chucky, man. Okay. I kind of like Bride of Chucky. I mean, again, this was kind of my wheelhouse of like, this was kind of getting in the age where I started actually watching like actual horror movies and not just like Goosebumps and stuff like that. So I kind of like Bride of Chucky. I'm still going to throw it in, I'm gonna throw it in C tier, but I'm not gonna oppose to it being in D tier either, though. But I kind of like Bride of Chucky, so I want to go like low C tier here.
All right, I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna defer to you on that one. So we'll go.
Let's go. Let's go D tier, man.
Yeah,
let's
we're gonna
go
have to
D-tier
start.
on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start going. But again, it is. I know what you're saying. Like you like it, but it's one of those movies that you can even admit like isn't that great, but it's still enjoyable.
Here's the thing. Let's go C tier with it because it does have some really good kills in it, and it's a Chucky movie, and it's not Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky would be F tier. So let's go C tier right now. We can move it, but let's go C tier.
Okay. All right. This movie they later turned into a successful TV show, and that's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Man, it's been a very long time since I've seen it, so just based on my memory of it, I'm gonna go C tier with it because I know it's pretty. I think it was pretty good, but man, I haven't seen this since like.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
It's been so long that I can't even really remember it.
I'll go C. We're gonna have to start moving some of these C down though. I can already tell. All right, the original Candyman. I'm gonna say the original Candyman. I'm gonna go. Because there's
you got to go A tier.
You think so? I was gonna say B, but
I won't.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, B tier.
I'll do B.
Because there's just something about Tony Todd, man. Like I wasn't big on the remake, but Tony Todd completely made this movie, and it's still creepy to this day.
That's what I was gonna say. Is just for the Tony Todd, I wasn't gonna go any lower than B tier. Now this isn't one of my like all time favorites or anything. I know that it's definitely a classic. I'm not saying it's not. And I know a lot of people would have this in S tier or even A tier or A tier and even S tier. But yeah, for me, it's a high B just because of I think it's good. It's creepy. It's kind of stayed relevant within the culturally and pop culturally, and so yeah, I would stick with B tier with this.
Okay. The Craft.
The Craft for me is A tier.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I'll give you A tier because I do think it's one of those movies that still to this day like people either reference or it still kind of stayed in like there's not many movies where it's got 4 female leads and it didn't it's not like super campy or anything. Like I think it's really entertaining. Like I said, I would probably agree with you more, but I just haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, it's just really good. It's kind of like a it definitely has that vibe of like a 90s teen slasher movie. It's kind of got that same vibe. It's got, but I just always found it interesting. It's like a really good, it's almost like a high school movie, but it's got the supernatural element added into it. But at the core of it, it's like a teen high school movie. So, A tier.
Yeah.
Really, I love The Craft.
All right, next up, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
I'm telling you right now, man, this is an underrated Halloween movie. This movie's...
I'd say it's in the top 3. It's in the top 3 of Halloween movies, I think.
It's so... I really love it, man. I love the whole story. It's like the cult aspect of it. It's like a young Paul Rudd, which is weird because he looks younger now than he did in this
Yeah.
movie, oddly enough. But I believe this was the last one Donald Pleasance did. So Donald Pleasance just was great. But I'm gonna be a realist. I'd say B tier, but I really enjoy this movie. But I gotta go B tier because I don't think it's good enough to be an A or S. So for me, it's B tier.
I'm good. I'm good with B tier. I wouldn't have probably pushed a ton if you'd have thrown in an A, but I think we would have ended up having to move it down. So I think B is a good spot for it. All right.
Yeah, because even though it's one of my favorites, I have to also be honest and be like, all right, there's definitely some flaws with it, but I do love it.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to knock it down to B instead of A, just because,
Yeah.
we're kind of judging it based on how good it is, also.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. I'm gonna
Great
go.
horror comedy.
Yeah. It's good, man, but it's either C or D for me. Like it's one of those movies where if it comes on TV one day, I might check it out, but I'm not ever seeking out this movie. And we both love
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, I think that D tier is the lowest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it belongs in the lowest though. Like we got to save that for like the lowest movies.
All right,
That's why
I'll
I
put
don't
it.
really like having Army of Darkness there.
Why? You think Army of Darkness should
But
be?
yeah, let's go see. I just feel wrong about it. It just, I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but
again,
I mean, D tier
okay,
for me is like movies that suck.
but this is our list. Like if there's a movie that we both don't like, then it should probably be in D tier. So we'll come
Well,
back.
I'm not gonna put Dracula Dead and Loving It above. Yeah, so I'd have to put D tier.
We could put it in C, but like I said, we're probably gonna have to move some of these down at some point.
Yeah,
All right, Deep Blue Sea.
I mean, my opinion, it's A tier because I
A
love Deep
tier?
Blue Sea, but I love Deep Blue Sea. I love this movie, man. This movie's so underrated. It's so good. It's like it's to me the best shark film since Jaws.
I mean, how many other movies did it have to beat out to be in that distinction? The Meg.
I don't know, man, but I love Deep Blue Sea, man. But I don't mind this being lower. I just wanted to put out there that I loved it. So realistically, though, it can't go above B tier. But I love Deep Blue Sea. So, but I'm okay with B tier
I'll give you B.
because it's just a really fun. That's what people don't get. It's like it's supposed to be kind of
Yeah.
serious, but also there's campy elements to it.
Yeah, and it's actually got some pretty good like action and stuff in it too. So, I'm
It's
good.
a good movie. I'm
good with
telling you, the pacing of the movie is really good. Like, there's never any moment in that movie where you're like super bored. I mean, the whole scene with LL Cool J trying to get his bird. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just that's
Yeah.
horror. That's horror legend right there, man.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right. Disturbing behavior.
Oh my god!
See, these are the ones that are tough
Again, man.
because this is a movie that we both love. But is it at that? Is it at that level of like the top tier? I can't go low.
It's not.
I'm not going
it's
lower.
Not, it's not S or A, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say B.
I'm good with B because we really enjoy it, but there's some big flaws.
Yeah, dude,
with
there's-
it, like big ones.
Yeah, man. There's some. It's got one of the most unsung heroes ever, man. What's the guy that's
The
the
janitor,
janitor, dude?
man.
He goes out like
I forget
a
his
hero.
name, but he reads a lot of Kurt.
Yeah,
He reads a lot Kurt Vonnegut.
yeah.
I don't know. Like we've talked about this. I don't know what that's what I love about when they get these kind of these. And again, I feel terrible. I don't remember the actor's name who plays the janitor, but he's the bad guy in Die Hard 2, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And I I just love when they get these kind of, it's kind of like The Faculty getting Robert Patrick. I just love when those movies get like kind of these really veteran actors and they kind of just swing for the fences and have fun with the role.
Yeah.
Um,
William Sadler's the guy's name.
and I'm a sucker for the William Sadler. He's so good, and I'm just a sucker for. And Marsden's great in this, man. I love Marsden in this. Nick Stahl, Katie Holmes. I mean, like I said, man, it's just it's again, people that watch it today probably won't like it, but when you were growing up in the '90s, man, like that, like I just Disturbing Behavior kind of checked a lot of the boxes. I kind of like the whole invasion of the body snatchers, like something's wrong, like, and nobody believes the kids that are trying to tell them there's something
Yeah,
wrong.
they're all just punks.
Yeah, so B tiers, I think we'll agree B tier for sure.
All right, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I feel like I haven't seen this enough. I think I've seen this one time, and it's been a very long time ago, and I'm not even sure if I can speak intelligently on it. So I'm going to defer to you.
I'm gonna go C tier. I love Keanu Reeves, but he's awful in this. He was not well cast in this. I'm gonna go C, and like I said, we'll probably make an adjustment to C at some point. But again, it's a movie that
We're
saw.
Scared to put things in D.
Yeah, but there's some coming up that I know are going in D tier. So,
Okay, good.
but yeah, Dracula. When I saw it years ago, it made an impression. But again, it's one that I haven't seeked out. I probably won't ever watch it again if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna throw it in C. Event Horizon.
What's your favorite Dracula film? What's your favorite Dracula film?
That's like vampire movie or straight Dracula movie?
No, it has to have Dracula in it.
Honestly, man, one of my favorites, and again, I'd have to like really sit there and think, but what is it? Dracula Untold was really good.
You like Dracula Untold?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you've been mentioning that one.
Yeah. All right. Up next is Event Horizon. I'm gonna go. If it's just me, I'm gonna say either A or B.
Look, man, I have two options here. I can either lie or I can be ridiculed. And I'm gonna be honest to be ridiculed. I haven't seen Event Horizon yet.
I'm gonna go.
Really ashamed too.
Yeah,
dude,
it
looks like my type of movie.
Yeah, I mean it's basically kind of like Dead Space, the game, but in a movie form. Like it's got a lot of those same things in it.
Yeah, it's on my watch list for the spooky season coming up, and with the 4K just being released, I'm definitely going to dive in. But yeah, this is one that I'm embarrassed to admit I haven't seen. So
I'm going to go high B tier.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the list.
Don't you hate that when you call yourself a big horror fan and they're like, and then you don't see Event Horizon? It's almost like people just like spit on you.
Well,
like,
and there's movies. I like to think of myself as a person that watches a lot of movies. There's classic movies I still haven't seen, like the Godfather trilogy. I haven't seen any of those. Probably never will.
And what people don't get is like I've seen probably more horror movies than most people, or more movies in general than most people. Like, just we're talking about percentages, But again, man, when I was growing up, man, I didn't, I wasn't being able to watch Event Horizon. And as
a lot
you
of
get
those
older,
things,
like you're watching the current stuff. Yeah, so
yeah,
just got lost in the shuffle there.
All right, I think this might be our first S tier. The Faculty.
I got to remember we're just ranking these among 90s horror.
Yeah.
So while if you stacked it up against every horror movie ever made, it wouldn't be S tier. But if you're just talking about the most memorable horror movies of the 90s, I would personally say A tier. I love The Faculty. I'm very picky about what goes in S tier. I'll go A tier with this one. That's my vote. But I don't feel strongly enough about it. If it was an S tier, it wouldn't bother me because I think it's just such a fun like throwback to the creature features, and it's like the cast is so great, man. It's like it's so cool when you get to look back at these movies and like just see like like, because the people that were in that movie, they were like it was a great cast.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of movies like The Faculty being made right now, so it's kind of a cool. It's kind of cool that it got made. But yeah, I'll go A tier for me, but
I'm gonna put it in A for right now, but I might use my challenge or my overrule to put it in S, because this is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Like, I love this movie.
You know what? Hey, let's throw it up in S tier, man. Let's throw it up in S tier. Let's not treat S tier like it's untouchable.
That's true.
We watch The Faculty every year. Unlike Disturbing Behavior, which we like, but there's definitely some boring parts and some parts that don't work.
Yeah.
The Faculty really, I mean, Robert Rodriguez kills it with this movie. Like, the movie flows so great. There's never any moment where like you're bored.
Yeah.
So let's go.
True.
I'm going S. Let's go S.
All right. Fallen, Denzel Washington.
So we put an S tier, right?
Yep.
Okay. Fallen, Denzel Washington. I don't know, man. D
I don't
tier?
think it's. No, I think it's better than Bone Collector. I'm gonna move Bone Collector to D.
It does nothing for me. It does nothing for me, man. I love Denzel, but he I don't know what he was doing in his career right here, where he made a couple of like kind of horror / thrillers or whatever. But
John Goodman's good in this too.
I mean, he's great in it. Yeah, they're great. But yeah, let's go C tier. That's fine.
Flatliners.
Oh my god. Hey, I rewatched Flatliners a couple weeks ago. Arrow came out with a special edition release. I loved Flatliners.
Yeah,
man.
It's really good.
Like, I really like this. The cast is great. The story is great. It loses steam though. There's like there's a little bit where like in the middle it kind of starts losing its steam a little bit or whatever. But with Flatliners, man, I want to say A tier, but I'll be okay with B tier on this one. But
I'm good with A.
B.
I'm good with A.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Flatliners, man.
Yeah,
I just
good.
enjoy it. It's kind of a cool, yeah. So,
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'll be honest. I
don't think I've seen this.
I saw this one time, probably 20 years ago, and I was bored out of my mind. I'm gonna go D.
I don't think I've seen this one.
And this is probably
I've seen the old black and white ones.
Well, I was gonna say this is probably one that I need to revisit just to, see if maybe I missed something. But yeah,
Wait a minute, is this the one with Robert De Niro?
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah,
in my
I don't think
opinion,
I've seen this one.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's not very good.
All right, let's just forget about it. Throw it in that D tier.
All right, Frighteners.
Frighteners used to scare the shit out of me.
Dude, I'm telling you right now,
it's scarred me, man.
For like a horror, as far as like horror comedy goes, I think this is the scariest horror comedy there is.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid and we loved Michael J. Fox growing up.
Yeah.
We watched Back to the Future, like Back to the Future, I mean, we grew up with those Michael J. Fox films. And I remember our parents were kind of on the fence about like letting me watch it, but they thought like, all right, we'll let him watch it, but make him close his eyes on certain parts. Dude, the part where you first see the dude like looking in the mirror and he's got the numbers on his head and Michael's, dude, that it still kind of scares me a bit. So I think The Frighteners is extremely good. Like I really enjoy this movie. It's super underrated. B tier for sure.
Again, I agree with you. B tier. This is actually on Peacock, I think, and I'm gonna check it out here in the near future because
it's really good, man. It's almost like a Tim Burton movie in a way.
Yeah,
does Tim Burton do this movie?
I don't think so, but it does really resemble a I know what you're talking about.
I gotta find out who directed this. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm looking this up.
I got it right here. Oh, hey, it's not Tim Burton, but it's another famous director. He did.
Peter Jackson did this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Peter, that's what's cool about Peter Jackson is before he did, obviously everybody knows him for Lord of the Rings, but now that I've gotten older, like, he started off with this type of genre, man. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, I couldn't remember who it was, but it does feel like a Tim Burton movie without being a Tim Burton movie in a way.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree
B
with you.
tier. I think that's one I'll definitely revisit. I'll definitely revisit that one soon.
All right, next up is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh man, From Dusk Till Dawn is so badass, dude.
It is.
I love From Dusk Till
last
Dawn.
hour of this movie is like incredible. I almost want to go S, man.
I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'm going A tier because it's not one that I really like revisit all the time, but I think it's fantastic.
I'm gonna put it at the top. I'm gonna put it at the top of A.
Okay, yeah, it's extremely.
It might move up.
You're watching a great. I'm gonna strongly keep it an S personally. Like it stays an S. I mean, sorry, I'm gonna strongly keep it an A. I don't love it enough for it to be an S for me. But you're watching an awesome movie when like literally the first hour of it, like you said, I wish I could have. The thing is when I first watched this movie, I knew that it was going to be like a vampire movie. Like I knew that going in based on whatever, but I still didn't realize that it was going to like, I didn't know what was going to happen, like how it was going to turn into a vampire movie because it kind of like lulls you to, not to sleep in a bad way, but like lulls you to be like, oh, this isn't like, you almost forget you're watching a vampire horror movie.
I was gonna say it kind of makes you forget what kind of movie you're watching, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I remember now. This is a vampire movie." But yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
and I think it's one of those movies that is kind of underrated in a weird way. I just feel like it doesn't get enough like love, and it's got like really iconic scenes and characters in it, and so yeah, I agree with you. Top of A tier is good for me too.
Hey, you know what's cool? You know what's really cool too is without me realizing it. From Dusk Till Dawn, I'm pretty sure was Robert Rodriguez again.
Yeah,
yeah, it is. So, that's one of those ones you kind of know, but you don't want to sound stupid, so you got to check yourself.
Yeah, I always have to check myself.
We got two Robert Rodriguez movies at the. Yeah, we got two Robert Rodriguez movies at the top: Faculty and Dusk Till Dawn and High A. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
kudos to Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. All right. The Good Son. This movie.
Oh man! Again, I put this in the category domestic thriller.
How many?
I still remember this movie.
How many sections in the movie store do you remember there being?
A lot.
I don't ever remember a domestic thriller.
Okay, but it's like Clear and Present Danger. That's like a a espionage thriller, or like a
Yeah, this is
those Jack Ryan movies.
The Good Son is not like the Jack Ryan movies, man. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. Like there is a difference.
Another
domestic violence.
No, domestic Indecent Proposal.
Dude.
Domestic.
Have you ever seen The Good Son?
Have I seen The Good Son? Of course.
Yeah, man. I think this is you like trying to pretend that you've seen something, because if you're comparing it to Indecent Proposal.
Dude, I remember strongly The Good Son. I've seen this movie multiple times. I'm kind of irritated that you keep questioning me.
Okay.
So I'm going to just go ahead and give my ranking because it's stuck in my mind for this long a time, and I saw it when I was a kid a couple times. I'm going to say The Good Son is C tier though. As good as some of the moments are in the movie, as a whole, the movie just doesn't quite work the full time for me. So I'm going to go C tier.
I'm good with that. I'm good with C tier. All right, another movie that has a great cast, and I think kind of gets forgotten a little bit, The Haunting, with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson.
Oh man!
And see, I always get this and
not a fan of this.
House on the Haunted Hill mixed up. House on the Haunted Hill is better though.
House on the Hill kicks ass.
I'm gonna go.
I'm
This
not a
got
fan of
Owen
this
Wilson.
movie.
This got Owen Wilson in it too. The Haunting, I'm gonna put in D tier.
That's the only part I remember. Yeah, the only part I remember is Owen Wilson getting his head eaten off by that lion sculpture.
Yeah. All right.
So D tier, because I just don't like this movie.
Yeah. All right. House on Haunted Hill.
House on Haunted Hill is A tier.
A tier.
I love House on Haunted Hill, but I'll settle for B tier because again, it's not one I'm gonna fight for to be an A tier. But I really enjoy House on Haunted Hill. Let's go B tier.
Yeah.
The more I'm thinking about it,
I'm good with B.
Let's go B.
All right.
I do want to talk real quick about how I don't want to just hold on. I want to talk about one thing on House on Haunted Hill. You know what my favorite thing about House on Haunted Hill is? Jeffrey Rush in House on Haunted Hill is so awesome. He does like his best Vincent Price impression, and it's like it's by far the best performance in the whole movie. And I'm gonna say her name wrong, but Famke Janssen.
Yeah.
She was also in Faculty.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I kind of like how in a few of these movies you kind of see, some of the same actors, and you know what I'm saying? You kind of see that in a few of the different ones.
Yeah, she was huge in the 90s, like those movies, and then towards the late 90s, early 2000s, the X-Men movies.
And you know what I love about House on Haunted Hill? House on Haunted Hill setup movie. I've always talked about this. Some of my favorite things my favorite things in horror is the setup. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. I love the set. I love when they send out the letters and then they're getting ready, or movies where they go on like a vacation or they go to a cabin. I like that whole 10, 15 minutes. There's usually like some montages and stuff. Don't you love that? Like when you're getting ready, like you're in a horror movie, you're in your seat and like it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of times
I like that about House on Haunted Hill.
It seems like now a lot of times they have like a quick scare, or they have like a 5-minute tense scare scene, horror scene, and then they do the build up after that. I'm kind of like you. I kind of like it reverse, like where they kind of take their time a little bit, and then when it starts to hit the fan, it starts to hit the fan.
Yeah, but Scary Movie 2 almost kind of ruins this movie. Scary Movie 2 really makes fun of the whole Haunted Hill thing.
Yeah, but I don't think it does any worse than Scary Movie 1 does to Scream. Like if Scream wasn't.
No, I just meant.
No, yeah. I know what you mean though. I know what you mean. All right, Hocus Pocus.
This isn't horror.
But okay, man. Next time you can build this list.
This is a family film.
Okay, dude, we have other movies up here that I wouldn't consider horror. Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, but it's hard to compare this to like real horror, like to other horror movies. And I'll rate it, but it's going to be more difficult. I really like Hocus Pocus. I want to go at least B tier.
Okay, there you go. B tier.
I almost want to go D tier because it's not a good horror movie because it's not horror.
Okay. Next up.
You think Hocus Pocus is horror?
No, dude. I told you from the beginning how this was set up.
Well, you said 90s horror.
Okay.
You said 90s horror, and you put in Hocus Pocus.
Okay, man. No, like I said, next time you can spend your hard-earned.
Are we gonna have that Olsen Twins Halloween movie in this too?
All right, man. Moving on. Next up, Idle Hands.
Hocus Pocus, bro. Idle Hands. I don't know. C tier, maybe
yep.
B.
I'm going C. High C, like the drink.
I kind of want to rewatch this though, because I watched it when I was younger, and I kind of want to rewatch it again.
Yeah. I know what you did last summer. S
tier. I know what you did last summer is one of the. Look, I think I know what you did last summer is a fantastic movie. Like a lot of people I've heard, say, "Oh, it's a Scream ripoff." Yes, of course it is. But
See,
like at the same
I
time,
kind of disagree with that though. I don't think it's like from the beginning who the killer is in this one. The whole thing was yeah, I know what you
all I
mean.
meant was is that it's like this was a product of Scream being so big.
Right.
You had all these you started getting a lot of these 90s slasher movies. That's all I meant. I didn't
Yeah.
mean it was like the same as Scream.
No, I know what you
But
mean.
people compare it to Scream. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a fair comparison. So I agree with you. Like people always compare this to Scream for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because it's got a young popular cast. It's a slasher movie, but
It came out pretty close to the
for
same
me,
time.
I want to go. Yeah, for me, I want to go S tier, man. I love I Know What You Did Last Summer. I just think it's also got one of the coolest titles of a movie of all time, in my opinion. I love the title of this movie.
Yeah, I'll give you S tier. I would probably fight for A,
Well,
but
I mean,
S is
what do you
okay.
think of the movie?
I like it. I think there's some other movies that are similar to it that I like personally better, but I'm okay with S tier.
Are you sure? Because you still got your override.
Yeah,
here.
I'm not that against it. I mean, it would either be S or high A.
And I just feel like when we put a movie in S tier, we got to mention. We both have to say something we like about it, basically. So
I mean, I do like.
I think
Go ahead.
I was just saying the thing I think I like most about I Know What You Did Last Summer is that it it feels like the cast, like normally with some of these movies you get a cast together and they don't, this cast to me like fits so well. Like they have a lot of chemistry and the cast really carries the movie for the first half of this thing before like stuff really starts happening. And I personally just love the whole like, is it you? Is it you? Like who's doing this? Like, they start kind of turning on one another. And I just think I don't know, man. I've just always been a huge fan of this one. And again, I'm kind of biased because this was kind of when I was first getting into horror. And these were the movies that I kind of like really got me introduced to horror. So I've always been a huge fan of kind of the slasher, teen slasher type genre.
This is a movie that Scary Movie has ruined one of the scenes in this movie, and that's the one where they're trying to decide what to do with the body. And
Yeah.
dude, when they do that in Scary Movie, and that guy that's supposed to be Ryan Phillippe's character just starts like beating the shit out of Anna Faris, man, that dude is so funny, man, and that has ruined that scene for me for that movie. But I agree with you. I think it's got a big. If Scream never came out and this movie came out, I think this would be like the pinnacle, like the one that everybody kind of rates everything else against. You know what I mean? It came out pretty close to the same time Scream did, or within a year or two. So,
yeah, it came out the following year, and I just, again, I think that's the thing, man, is everybody compares it to Scream, but like, and again, I get it, but I think that if you just watch it for its own thing, I mean, the thing also too is like, I think the same screenwriter, Kevin Williamson, I think wrote both of these, so it kind of, but this one takes itself a little bit more seriously, in my opinion, than Scream does, which was kind of a relief because I'm glad they didn't try to do the whole Scream like meta thing, This one definitely takes itself more seriously than Scream does. You know what I'm saying? Like Scream's not like Scream's definitely got a lot more humor in it.
well, and Scream kind of pokes fun at itself some too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like it's the first movie I remember where like the killer, he'll like trip over something and
Right.
or get hit with like a lamp and be like, oh shit, like, and that was cool at the time. But yeah. I agree with you. I kind of like the way that how they didn't go down that same path.
Great 4th of July horror movie too, by the way. There's not a lot of those. There's a lot of great summer movies set in like camps and stuff. This is a great 4th of July like horror movie. Like, so if you, it's kind of like an unofficial 4th of July movie you could watch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the 4th of July section at the movie theater, at the movie store.
Yeah.
All right. Interview with a Vampire.
That'd be funny. Interview with a Vampire. This is a Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt vehicle, right?
Yep.
Oh man, I've seen this movie, okay, but it's been so long. I really have to revisit it as an adult.
I'm gonna go see.
But I don't think it did it for me when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was a kid and saw this, I don't think it did it for me.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right. I still know what you did last summer.
Hey, listen, man. Jack Black alone should put this in B tier. Just him alone. I'll let you go first here. I kind of want to see what you're gonna say first.
I'm gonna go. I think C tier, mainly for that one line where it's towards the end and that guy is sitting there and he ends up telling Jennifer Love Hewitt, you know, that he's like in on it too. And his name is something Benson. And he's like, Ben's son?
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God. I'm going to say.
I like this movie though, man.
I'm going to say C, but high C. But that's my opinion.
I still know what you did last. I want B tier for this. I think this is a really good sequel, man. I mean, it's got some ridiculous parts. Don't get me wrong, but
all right,
it's got some
at the bottom of B.
I'm good with C.
We can put it at the bottom of B.
High C.
Pick one. Whatever you pick, I'll put it.
Man, let's go B, man. I think it deserves a B. I just think it's like another. I think it's a good sequel for what it is.
All right, the original It.
Oh shit! God. Did this movie come out to like just?
No, it was like a mini series. It was like a mini series.
That's right. Man, the original It, man. I mean, it can't be lower than B.
See, I disagree. I think that if this movie
sucks,
I do now that I've seen the new one. Like It 2, the new It Chapter 2 sucked, but when they redid the original It blew this one out of the water, and it made this one for me unwatchable.
Yeah, but Tim Curry's It is way scarier.
Oh, I disagree. I think he has more. I think
this It is so much scarier.
I think he has more fun with it, but I disagree with you on that.
I mean, I'm okay with D tier on this. I'm
okay with C.
It's iconic. Tim Curry makes it iconic for me. Just the imagery, like it's an image on the that I'll never get out of my head. Like it's that scary of an image for me.
I'm good with C.
Yeah, let's go C. That's fine.
All right. Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh man, Jason Goes to Hell. See that these are tough to rank because these are bad movies, but they're fun.
Yeah, but
I'm
gonna say D tier.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm okay with D, I guess.
And this next one,
it's just tough to rate. Like Jason's in its own world, though. It's tough to.
Yeah, but some of these movies are these movies are terrible, though, man.
Yeah, but it's yeah, okay. We got to put some stuff in D.
All right. This one's probably gonna follow it. John Carpenter's Vampires.
Well, don't do that. See, don't do that. Now I already know where you're going with it. So there's gonna be.
Well, dude, we can we've disagreed on numerous of these.
John Carpenter's Vampires is an awful film.
Yeah, it's D.
But it's got two really. I mean, dude, it's got a couple of good one-liners in here. That almost gets it out of D, but it's definitely D, man. This movie is really bad.
Yeah, and I just love how which Baldwin is it? Billy Baldwin that's in this.
I believe so.
And he like falls in love with that girl he just met, and she was like a vampire for most of the movie, and then they're just gonna like ride off into the sunset together.
Daniel
Baldwin, yeah,
it's Daniel Baldwin.
That movie's so bad. And then I like the
It
one.
really is, man. There's no redeeming qualities with it, really.
I like the that one part, man, where he's sitting there and he like goes to those priests or whatever, and they like show him this picture of Dracula, and it's supposed to have been a picture from like hundreds of years ago, but it's in
Mhm.
color and it's like perfectly. It's
Yeah.
almost like a photo, and James Woods like grabs it and he's like, "That's him," and they're like, "Oh my god, that's freaking." I forget the name they call him, but it's so ridiculous. But it's one of those that, like, if it was on, but see again, man, I don't know if I could sit through this again. I don't think I could.
It sucks. It's
Yeah, it's
going D
bad.
tier, man. Like it
Yeah,
sucks. Like if you watch it after a few beers with some friends, maybe. But even then, it's like it's no good, man. I don't know what. I mean, John Carpenter has made some of the most classic films in this genre ever, and it blows my mind that he's made some of the like late career Carpenter, man. I don't know if he was just the studio interfered. He just wanted to make some money, which I totally get, but I can't believe the same guy who directed some of the classics, man, The Thing and stuff, like directed this. It's crazy.
Lake Placid.
I love Lake Placid, man. This movie is so awesome. I'm telling you, man. I love this whole. The '90s kind of had that resurgence of like the the shark, the crocodile, the whatever. I really love Lake Placid, man. I'm definitely going B tier. I almost want to go A tier because I think it's an awesome movie.
I just put it right next to Deep Blue Sea. I think they're pretty interchangeable. Um,
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being there with Deep Blue Sea. That's a great double feature, by the way. If you ever want to do a double feature, I would recommend doing it like maybe Dog Days of Summer, late July, early August. You pop in Lake Placid, followed by Deep Blue Sea. Great double feature.
Leprechaun.
The original Leprechaun
Hmm.
came out in the '90s. I thought that was an '80s movie.
Nope.
Crazy. Leprechaun scared the shit out of me when I was little, but this movie sucks.
Yeah, it's going D.
I just the Yeah, I'm just not. I know there's a small percentage of people that really love the Leprechaun stuff. I'm not one of them. So D tier.
Mimic.
And before I go to Mimic, that I always remember seeing like Leprechaun and Child's Play cover art, like when I'd go to Blockbuster or whatever, or like a video store. So that's what I meant about the Leprechaun scared me as a kid, is because when I saw that imagery, I was like, oh shit, So I just wanted to put that out there. Mimic, man, I think Mimic's actually pretty decent. I mean, I'm gonna go C tier with it. It definitely doesn't belong in D tier, but it definitely doesn't belong any higher than C tier. So it's like this is probably the easiest one I've had. C tier.
Yeah, I think C's okay.
Mimic's not bad. Like I don't think it's a good movie, but it's actually not. I actually watched this again a couple of years ago, and it's really not that bad. But when you're watching it, you just always feel like it could have been a lot better. And
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro released it, and I think I kind of think the studio kind of interfered with this one a little bit, but yeah, there's definitely some really good parts in it.
Misery. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Oh, what did I do? I moved that on accident. I'm gonna go. Um, A tier. A or
Yeah,
A
it's
or high
easily
B.
A tier.
Yeah.
No, it can't go below A. I mean, I'm debating if it's S, but I think that I'm okay with it being an A tier for my personal list, but I would have no problem with somebody saying
Yeah.
like it's definitely S tier caliber with how good the movie is. I just don't find myself revisiting this one a ton, so I kind of want to save S for like my personal favorites. So yeah, A tier though. Let's lock it in A tier. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah, it is. Um, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
New Nightmare is pretty damn good. This one kind of brought it back to like when they were making those kind of goofy Freddy movies. This one kind of brought it back a little bit to where it felt a little bit like the original. And you know, they kind of did the whole meta thing with this too. Wes Craven did. I kind of like New Nightmare, man. I'm gonna go B tier with this.
I've never seen it, so I'm good with B. Um,
Yeah,
Phantoms.
Phantoms. They got Ben Affleck.
Yeah, of course it has Ben Affleck.
Dude, you talk about it because I gotta see if I've seen this.
I've seen it a long time ago. The only thing I really
I wanna
remember
watch.
from it actually wasn't in the movie. It was from Jay and Silent Bob, the movie, and
Yeah,
he keeps saying that Jay keeps saying that Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms. Um,
I
I'll
really
go.
want to watch this movie.
I'll go
I've
C.
never seen this.
I'll go C because I haven't seen it. I haven't. In fact, I'm gonna put it in haven't seen because it's been so long that I don't really remember a lot about it. That I might not have finished it.
I
So
do think we need that,
add that
and
to
I
the
do think we
list.
should add this to our list for October.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you know, and I'm telling you, man, Dimension Films, dude, I loved anything that started with Dimension Films, dude. It was at least going to get a watch for me, man.
Yeah.
They were making all kinds of entertaining movies, so I can't believe I haven't seen this, man. I can't wait to watch this.
Relic.
That's crazy. Relic, man. Does this got Tom Sizemore?
Yeah, dude, it's bad.
I don't think I've seen this one, but I've seen scenes from it,
I'm
but
gonna
not
go
the whole
D.
movie.
I'm gonna go D.
Okay, I'm good with that too.
Um. All right. Scream. Obviously.
I mean, it's S tier, bro.
Yeah, it's at the top.
I mean, Scream might be the in my opinion the best horror. I mean,
It's in the
I gotta be
short. It's in
careful with
the.
that.
It's on the short list. It's in the
It's
conversation.
Yeah, I got to be careful because I know there's a few we haven't gotten to that when I started thinking about them, I was like, oh well, I got to be careful what I say here. But Scream might be my personal favorite from the '90s, but it's easy S tier, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the first like no brainer that we've had for S.
I just think Scream was such a cultural event. Like I feel like it's been parodied so much, but the original, man, when I rewatch the original, what holds up about it is just how good the script is and how how great the cast is, man.
All the
Like Matthew
characters,
Lillard's,
yeah,
you know,
all the characters are believable, and they're not caricatures of what you'd think high school kids should be. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they got that part of it about as good as you could have gotten it. You know, every character is unique, every character is different, and they don't spend a ton of time other than like Sydney really kind of telling you much about these characters, but you feel like you know them just based on the short amount of time that they're in the movie. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's just got an iconic killer. I mean, Ghostface to me is such an
Yeah, that
iconic
mask
killer,
is
and the thing, yeah, and the thing about Ghostface that I love is that anybody could be Ghostface, and I think that's, you know, we talked about this the other day in one of our episodes, but you know, Jason is confined to being Jason. Like you can't like you wouldn't be able to put the hockey. I mean, they've tried it in one of the Jason movies, but that's basically Jason. Mike
mhm.
Myers is it has to be Mike Myers. The thing that I feel like Scream, and they're already filming the next one, but like I feel like Scream could just keep going and going because like there's so much stuff you can do with it, and it's such an iconic. um like I said, man, it really kind of carved out its place in the horror Mount Rushmore of killers, you know, Ghostface.
Yeah.
So, um, and you know, I love the, you know, I really find stuff in all the Scream sequels that I love. There's something there with all of them. So yeah, easy S tier. I just wanted to, out of respect for Scream, I definitely wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about what we loved about it.
Scream 2.
And can I also say one more thing about Scream? You know, the whole scene where Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy are walking up to the front door and she doesn't know who to trust. That's kind of a microcosm of like what I love about Scream is like the first time you watch it, you truly don't know who it could be, like, for a long period of time in that movie. That really felt like you didn't see it coming from a mile away. I'll put it that way.
Well, and also the fact that there was two killers. You know, I can't remember a movie
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
had done that to where, and then you go back and you start watching it and you start thinking like, okay, who killed this one? Who was the under the mask in this kill, and who was responsible for this kill? So it kind of has that thing that you
Yeah.
go back and you rewatch it and you see new stuff each time you watch it. So, um,
Yeah.
but
I
Scream
think
Two,
Scream 2. I think I'm gonna do this one first, but the next couple you start with this one. I feel selfish always talking about it first, so I'll do this one though. Scream 2, I think, is probably the best direct sequel, and I'm talking about it's not the like from 1 to 2, like the second entry. I think Scream 2 is probably the greatest sequel of a horror movie ever made. Like if we're just talking the second installment of a horror franchise. I'd have to really think, but it's I think it's awesome. I love Scream 2. I'm not saying that it should be an S tier, but I'm gonna really fight for at least A tier. I think because just the opening like 15 minutes is like you didn't think that they could top the Drew Barrymore opening, which it doesn't top that, but it comes pretty damn close to meeting that. That opening scene alone is like amazing. That opening scene alone is better than like 50% of the movies we've talked about.
yeah.
So I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm going A tier. I love Scream 2. And again, I'd have to really think about the second entry and all these. I don't want to over speak about it, but I'm hard pressed to find a second entry of a horror franchise that's as good as this one.
Um, I guess I would have to say like you would have to compare it to. It has to be relative to how good the first movie in the franchise was. So for me, like Final Destination 1 isn't as good as Scream 1, but I do feel like Final Destination 2 is a really good sequel to a really good Final Destination. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the drop
That's
off
true. Final
is that
Destination
far.
2 is really good. Yeah.
For me, Scream 2 is it's at least B for me. I'm okay with A. I'll put it at the bottom of A for me.
I was going to use I have two overrides. You gave me an extra one, remember? I was going to use that here.
All right,
Because
we'll go ahead
I
and
think
use
Scream
one.
2 is. All right, I'm going to use my override to make sure. Well, you already gave it A, though.
No, I'm gonna. Nah,
But I'll use it.
I'm going B. All right.
All right. I do want Scream. And again, I'm starting to think about second entries, but just look at Halloween 2. You know, Halloween 2's got its fans, but like it doesn't even come close, in my opinion, to the heights of the first one. Scream 2, I don't think is as good as Scream 1, but I think Scream 2 like is really really damn good. So yeah, I'm putting it in an A.
Silence of the
Override
Lambs.
one used. I mean, Silence of the Lambs S tier.
Yep. Put it right
I
behind
mean,
Scream.
there's not a whole lot. Just you go ahead, talk about this one first, Chris. But I mean, I knew that you'd have it in S tier.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first time I watched this movie, I was in grade school, and this is a movie that I normally would not have been able to watch. I went over to a friend's house. His parents had rented this, and for some reason, they thought it would be a good idea to let us watch this. We didn't watch all of it, but I watched it enough to know that, you know, I probably shouldn't have been in the room. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna say it's as an iconic villain and a protagonist as you can find, like that dynamic. You're not gonna find many movies that have a better combination than that. So yeah, I just think, and again, I've seen this movie multiple times, and it's still like unsettling throughout. I mean, it's not a movie that after the 10th time you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, that's, I'm kind of numb to that now. Like, no, it's still the first time she like meets him, and all the different things that happen throughout the movie. Buffalo Bill is still creepy as hell. I just think it's one of those movies that even if we did like all horror movies ever, I still think this is one that would be an S tier for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that a lot of times I don't really agree with the Academy Awards and stuff like that, but to see kind of a movie that's pretty much a full blown horror movie, it's not like one of those ones that's like, oh, it's got some horror in it. I mean, this is truly a horror movie, in my opinion. I mean, it's definitely more of a prestige horror movie. It definitely got a lot more drama in it. But man, this movie's got some really not only memorable scenes, but it's just a fantastic movie all around. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
it's been talked about at nauseum, but it's a fantastic movie. Definitely belongs in the S.
All right, we've got like 8 left. So
Okay.
so Sleepy Hollow.
I love Sleepy Hollow, man.
I love Sleepy
really,
Hollow.
Well, you go ahead. Go ahead. Talk
I'm
about it
gonna
first.
for me, I'm gonna put it in A. I love Sleepy Hollow. I think it is very underrated horror movie. I think it's one of those that it kind of gets overshadowed by, and I think it kind of shows just how diverse horror movies were in the '90s. That you have Scream, you have a movie like Silence of the Lambs, and then you have Sleepy Hollow, like From Dusk Till Dawn. It was just a very like good decade for horror because there was just something for just about everybody. But I love Sleepy Hollow. It's one of those that I could watch all the time. Like it would never get old for me. I think Johnny Depp is great in this, and it's just one of those movies that's like it's like the perfect, kind of fall. When the weather starts getting a little bit cooler or like it's raining outside, this is like the perfect movie to throw on because it's very good about like creating the atmosphere and in the world. So I love Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for S on this one or A. I mean,
Yeah, you're not gonna have to fight for it because I love Sleepy Hollow too. It's probably my favorite Tim Burton movie.
yeah,
And yeah, I love Sleepy Hollow as well. Pretty much all the things you just said. The only thing I'll add on is, man, Christopher Walken in this movie used to scare the shit out of me.
yeah, his teeth were crazy, man.
Yeah, but this is one of my favorite Johnny Depp performances. This was like peak Depp too.
Yeah.
Like this was like this was again nothing reaches the popularity of Jack Sparrow or anything. I'm just saying this was peak Johnny Depp because he was still making weird shit, but it was mainstream.
Well, and every
So him and
character
Burton were like making like mainstream weird movies.
Yeah, and every character is like different. It's not like they roll out the same character and just put a different title on the movie. It's all these characters are different but yeah, I'm really a huge fan of this movie. So A tier for me, and I put it pretty high A tier for on mine.
Well, why don't you throw it an S? I don't understand if you love it so much.
It might go up to S, but I think it's a step below. But see, again, I like it more than I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like this is one that we might come back and I might throw it up in S, depending on how these other ones go.
I'm good with A though, for sure.
All right, Species.
Man, Species isn't that great, man.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
I bought it recently, and I haven't revisited it. But again, man, I'm kind of a sucker for these like '90s creature feature movies, and this one's kind of.
I put it right next to Mimic.
I don't want to put it in. Yeah, that's C, right?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say C tier.
C's fine.
Yeah, let's go C tier. And there's not a whole lot I want to say about it other than the cast that it has. You would think it would be a lot. It was going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it kind of fell short of that.
Stir of Echoes. This movie is creepy,
really
man.
Good.
This movie is creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And it was a movie that like you had never really seen Kevin Bacon kind of like this. It was there was a time where it was like this, and then you had Harrison Ford and What Lies Beneath. Like they were doing a lot of those movies where you had a guy that was kind of like a leading man, and then he was in these horror movies, and he ends up being kind of like the villain or whatever. I'm gonna say at least B tier. What do you think?
I'm okay with B. Yeah, I'm okay with B. It's closer to being an A tier than it is in
Oh,
C.
I agree. I'm putting it top. I'm
Um,
putting it towards the top of B tier.
yeah, I'll go with B tier. This was another subgenre, like you just said, that they were kind of making there for a little while. Um, again, I think we could say that this leans toward domestic horror.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna have to
and
look that. I'm gonna have to look that up after this show. What domestic horror is?
all joking aside, I always think of those as like, it's kind of like what we talked about, domestic disturbance, what lies beneath. It's always this
Yeah,
like, hey man, on the surface,
somebody's
this
in the
couple, this
house. Yeah.
family looks, yeah. But all joking aside, definite B tier. I actually want to I kind of want to revisit this one a little bit. So,
Okay.
but yeah, B tier.
All right. Tremors.
Oh man, oh my god.
I'm saying
I,
I'm saying A, like mid A.
Oh, it's 100% A tier. I'm almost wanting to push for S because again, it's so good. And I just rewatched. I mean, not rewatched it. I just watched it for the first time a couple years ago, for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And normally there's like that nostalgia that you feel that kind of elevates it. Even right now watching it, I thought it was amazing. So I'm definitely going A, but I'm we might end up putting this in S when it's all said and done because I really this movie's awesome,
Yeah,
fantastic.
and it holds up really
We
well.
talked about creature features. It does. It holds up great, man. It holds up great. I think it's such a great. I mean, it's one of the most fun horror movies. The cast is incredible. It's just a lot of fun. It's just
Yeah.
such a fun like. It's like a happy horror movie. You know what I mean? It's like happy. Like you're happy after you watch it.
And I like movies like that. You know, like the one thing that horror does a lot of times, man, is at the end of it, you just feel like awful. You know, you just feel terrible because like everybody died or something terrible happens to the main character. And then this one, you know, for the most part, like it's like you said, the whole time it's never too heavy or anything, and it just kind of keeps a good pace throughout. Yeah, so we might come back to Tremors, but for now,
What do we got in S tier? What do we got in S tier so far?
Scream, Silence of the Lambs, Faculty, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I love the Faculty too, but
Dude, come on now.
I feel like we gotta have.
Hey, be careful.
All I'm saying is this. I feel like let's come back to it, but I feel like we definitely probably need to have Tremors up there. But let's come back to it.
Okay. All right. One of the best twist endings of all time, The Sixth Sense.
I'll let you go first here because I've been going first a lot.
I'm going to say, and see, this is where it's tough because as far as like cultural significance and, you know, what it did for people's careers, you know, especially M. Night Shyamalan, I would almost want to say S tier. But I'm comfortable saying A tier because I think it's really good. And I think even it's one of those rare movies that even when you know the twist, it's still a good movie to watch. You know, like it's like you're kind of looking for those things to notice, and they do it in such a good way that even when you know it, you're like, God, man, I can see how I didn't pick up on that. You know.
See, I'm kind of the opposite with this one. I feel like the twist makes it, and when you know the twist, it doesn't have the same effect for me. Like I think the once you know the twist and you're rewatching it, it definitely. And again, I don't want to punish it for that because you want to like that's not fair really to punish it for like that aspect of it. I'm okay with. I mean, I think it's a really good movie. I probably would put it in B if this was my personal list. I definitely think it's one of M. Night's one of his better movies. I mean, I love Signs too. You know, that's just me personally. I love Signs, but Sixth Sense is really good. Very creepy. It's more of an atmosphere movie, so I'm okay with A because I think it's that good.
Yeah,
But,
I'm gonna put it in A.
On a rewatch, I feel like it's more like towards low B.
I mean,
like
it does drop
but
some.
first watch, A.
Yeah, but if you're going just based on first watch, then it's an S. I think.
Yeah, it's a hard movie to watch too. It's kind of hard. I don't really revisit this a lot because it's kind of like a
it's super gloomy and super. Yeah. All right, 3 left. Thinner. This movie's
I
terrible.
mean,
I'm going D.
that's D, man.
This movie's
But
awful.
I will say, man, Thinner. I remember Thinner.
It's a
like,
cool premise, though,
like I
man.
still remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's D. It's terrible.
Urban Legend.
Oh my! See, this is why you gotta. My God.
I'm gonna say honestly, man.
You gotta go.
If it was
let me go first with this one. Let me go first with Urban Legend
okay.
because I don't want your pick to sway me here. I love Urban Legend so much that for me personally, it's an S tier movie because it's one of the movies just like Scream, just like I Know What You Did Last Night. I'm a sucker for this genre. I rewatch these movies all the time. I literally watch Urban Legend at least once a year, a lot of times twice a year. For me, it's S, but I'm okay with A because I feel again it's such a different movie than say a Silence of the Lambs. I'm trying to keep S like that's why I'm almost having second. Anyway,
I'm okay.
I'd say S, but I'm okay with A.
I'm good with S, and I would almost say that if we were to move one movie down, I would no, you're out of your mind. I would keep Urban Legend ahead. I like Urban Legend more than I Know What You Did Last Summer.
We can't move. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I know. Because
it's a classic.
All right. Last one, and then we'll kind of go over these again, see if there's any we want to move. But Wolf with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jack Nicholson.
You know, I really like Wolf. I really like it. It got panned for some reason. I think people thought it was going to be something different. Like I wasn't around when I mean, I was around, but like I wasn't paying attention to the trades, I guess you could say. But apparently, like people hated this movie. Like it's kind of picked up a cult following. But I guess people just assumed it was going to be a lot better than it ended up being. I thought this movie was pretty entertaining. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm going to say C tier. I mean, I'd be okay with B, but it definitely doesn't belong in D because I think it's an entertaining.
I'm gonna say high C. Like I think it's in that same category of like Devil's Advocate and Good Son. I think it's like right up there with those movies.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our list. So let's see. And really, I think everything's pretty much set except for S and A. I think maybe we can move one or two up from A. So right now in S we have
what's on A?
Right now in S, we have Scream, Silence of the Lambs, Faculty, Urban Legend, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. A, we've got From Dusk Till Dawn, Blair Witch Project, Sleepy Hollow, Tremors, The Craft, Flatliners, Misery, Scream 2, and Sixth Sense.
God, how much do we have in B?
We got a ton in B. B and C are our biggest ones. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 in B and 14 in C. The only ones I would say that might have a chance that I personally would be okay moving up to S is Tremors and Sleepy Hollow. I love From Dusk Till Dawn, but it takes a while to get going. I like Sleepy Hollow more than I like From Dusk Till Dawn.
I think we need to move Tremors up to S.
Okay.
Tremors belongs in S.
And I'm okay leaving Sleepy Hollow in A, but I'm going to put it at the top of A for me. But again, man, I mean, I like Sleepy Hollow. And again, I'm just not as big on, I still really like it, but like I would have Sleepy Hollow and I Know What You Did Last Summer flipped. But again, they're pretty close to.
And I'm surprised you didn't have In the Mouth of Madness on this list.
You know, I almost put it on here, but I had to start. I wasn't sure if you had seen it. And just when we started making the list.
I'd put it. Yeah.
I was just going to say, when we were making the list, when I was making the list, when we were going through this, there was a couple that, like Cape Fear. I should have had Cape Fear on here. But I just didn't, there's some that I just forgot to put on here. Cape Fear for me would be A tier. That's why I'm so mad that I didn't put it on here. But see, I haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness, so I don't, and I wasn't sure if you had seen it.
Yeah. I mean, for my personal list, again, we're doing this together. So my personal list, Craft is definitely one I want to stay in A. I definitely want to put Tremors in S. I'm okay with putting Sleepy Hollow in S. I really don't want to knock down I Know What You Did Last Summer. But I don't, I do think we have three like teen slashers up in S, and I kind of want to keep S to like five movies in a weird way.
But this was the decade for that though. I mean, we're gonna have more
Yeah.
up there than that. I'll move just because I think in the grand scheme of things, I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is more iconic. I'm gonna move Urban Legend down to A.
No,
And
let's keep Urban Legend S
All right.
because we both love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got 6 in S.
Again, I mean, that's what's so great about horror, man, is like it's really kind of everybody's list is going to be drastically different because horror's got so much variety.
Yeah. So for me, there's 6 movies in S, 8 in A. I think I said 13 in B, 14 in C. D has got 8.
Name the 13 Bs real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Just real quick.
Arachnophobia, Event Horizon, Stir of Echoes, Candyman, Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, Lake Placid, Deep Blue Sea, House on Haunted Hill, Disturbing Behavior, Frighteners, Hocus Pocus, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and A New Nightmare.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing in there that screams like, hey, you got to throw it up to A.
Yeah.
I feel really weird about having Army of Darkness all the way down in D, though.
Dude, that movie's not good.
It is what it is.
And it's not in D, it's in C. We put it in C.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that list because, like I said, I mean, the only other thing I would do for me, I'd probably put Craft up in S tier just because I love the Craft, but I'm fine with it being an A.
Yeah, dude.
But the only other one I could see us adding to S is Sleepy Hollow. I would not mind Sleepy Hollow getting up there, but we can keep it like this.
All right, man. Well, that's our '90s tier list. Let us know what you think. What movies we're way off on, or which ones you would add. I think that's a pretty good list, though. I think that's pretty indicative of what, I think that's where most people would have these. I think most people probably have Sixth Sense up in S just because it's so, iconic. But again, after your first viewing, it kind of takes a hit. So, all right. Well, thanks again for checking us out, and we will see you next time.